All right. Welcome everybody to the Verified Wines podcast, where we just sit here and discuss wines. We're all here in the industry, so I'm here with Yemi.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. What do you do, and how do you help get wine from the vineyards to our tables?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yemi, but I go by Yemi Bello. My company is based out in Philadelphia. I started the company about 3 years ago during the pandemic in 2020.
During the pandemic.
Yes, during the pandemic, which is, everyone being home, drinking and doing Zoom calls and Zoom happy hours and so on and so forth. I decided to, try to do something that I have a passion for. I've been in the industry for about a little bit over more than a decade now, working, with the distributor side and import side and supplier side. And I figured, why not? What's the better time to start a legacy company for my family and for my kids? I have two amazing daughters. And my brand, some of my brands, my driver brand, the driver brand is actually based after my daughters, both my girls, 15 and 16. And that's basically it, how the company started. I'm a Nigerian descent. I came to the U.S. as an immigrant to go to school here. I went to Temple University in Philly, TU, and I went to grad school at St. Joe's. I came here when I was about 17, going on 18.
Yeah.
And, like most immigrants, you go to school, you work hard. And then the goal right now is to build a legacy company for my family, bringing in great, amazing wine from different regions of Europe, and making it affordable for everyday dining, consumers and dining tables. Because at the end of the day, being in the industry, I think wines bring people together. Socializing socially or family aspect of it as well. I think wine and spirits per se, but I think wine is meant to be enjoyed, amongst friends and family.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It really has a way of bringing everybody together.
Yeah.
Just like us two here,
Yeah. I still remember the first day we met. It's been, it's great. And I came in with my sales rep with Breakthrough Beverage DC. And it's, now we're here together having a podcast and I have an event with you guys today. I had an event, tasting and bottle signing event with your other store last night, Verified.
Yeah, I heard good things. I stopped over there to grab the wines last night. So
yeah, we had
fun.
Yeah, we had a great show in there. A lot of foot traffic, bottle signing, pictures taken, and it was fun. It's fun for me. It's amazing coming out and talking about the wine and enjoying a glass of wine with consumers and like-minded people. Just breaking bread.
Yeah, for sure. How long have you been in the industry? Did you grow up with wine?
So actually, the funny thing is, no, I never grew up with wine. I grew up back in Nigeria, not to say I was drinking at a young age, but pretty much being a British colony, we drank primarily, what adults drank was basically, we had a local drink we drank, which is palm wine, which they drank as an adult drink, palm wine. Then you drink beer, and also spirits, but the spirits you drank then would be gin. And I'm going to do a shameless plug. I do have a gin as well that I imported from Leeds from one of my best mates. Yeah, we have a really gin. It's 11 Botanical. It's an amazing gin. It's called John Roberts Botanic Request. Freaking amazing gin. So it's all the way from Leeds. And we do sell it in DC, PA, and some other markets. And I can't wait for you guys to see. I know Max at the other Verified, he actually wants to grab a couple of bottles of it in and taste. But that's how things started. I never really drank until I came into the US. I started working in the industry, bartending, to pay my way through University Temple back then. And one thing led to another. I started working for worked for a distributor, I worked for a big supplier, and now the rest is somewhat history. Having my own brand, having my own wine import company. It's not easy, but it's fun as well. It's being able to live, creating, generational wealth and lasting legacy company for my two kids and my family, and to be able to be, black and brown person, having this industry, being in this industry with a wine company. It's for me, it's the sky's the limit for right now. We're just scratching the surface.
Has that been interesting? Because I'm from Guatemala, and I haven't met a single other person, another Guatemalan in the wine industry. So, and I didn't grow up with wine at all. I mean, we make Zacapa rum, and
Yeah.
there's a coconut cartel rum now from
Okay.
Guatemala. But other than that, wine is not something that I grew up with. I got into the industry out of coincidence. I was selling cars, and I met Max, and he was in it, and helped him out on the side, and here I am.
Very nice.
Absolutely just dove in the deep end with it. So,
Yeah.
what was it like, kind of finding the alcohol industry, getting into it? Did you, like, at a young age, kind of develop a like for it, or was it just something that you joined and just
So, I mean, great question. Saying, your background being Guatemalan, Malin. I think it's interesting as well. When I came into the industry, you don't see a lot of black and brown individuals, people like you and I, owning a wine company or being in the industry. And I still sometimes, not all the time, even I think now there's more awareness, social awareness, and people understanding of, okay, anyone could own a company and grow brands.
right?
When I first came into industry, I worked solely in the multicultural. I was somewhat not say the face, but my job was to help grow brands in the multicultural sphere. So
Interesting.
basically going into the black and brown wine bars, restaurants, and so on and so forth to sell different brands, and that were being, and sometimes I'll cross over into the general markets because we do have, we drink in all aspects. We go to all aspects of bars, restaurants, and clubs to
Right.
socialize. So, that I don't want to say that was an eye opener for me. For me, it was just to continue to persevere in that industry, as well as going into, working with the family and friends that I work with in Italy. I don't know the numbers, and I'm not going to lie about. I know, there's like 500 black people or black and brown people in Italy working in owning wineries. I don't know the numbers, but for me per se was just continuously trying to break this barrier for myself and disrupt the industry per
Right.
se. Because I don't think there's that many Nigerians, Nigerian Americans out there anyway, to say he or she owns a brand label, a wine label, a wine company. Oh, actually working with wineries from Italy. A good, not a, I won't call it, he's not a friend, but he's an acquaintance in the industry. And I think this is, for me, one thing that makes me happy and proud when I see other black and brown people owning brands or wineries or wine labels or brands, because we have to support each other. I said it earlier. I remember when I first came in here, and I was like,
Yep.
wow, I want to be a part. I want to partner with you guys somehow, some way, some shape or form, to continue to help, not only help you grow, not to grow my brand, but also help you grow my brand within your store. So to me, it's fun. I think we have to continuously trying to break that barrier and also put our best foot forward, and that's what I do. I'm trying to do every day, in talking about my brands and talking about myself. It's not easy.
No,
Rome wasn't built.
that's a fact.
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
Yeah, Rome wasn't built in a day, but the thing I try to do is continue to trying to cultivate good rapport with my partners, be my distributor, be my mom and pop store, be the big conglomerate restaurateurs and so on and so forth in Philly, DC, Maryland, or Delaware, that we have brands in, and also New Hampshire that we have brands in. Just to continue to put my best foot forward and trying to grow the brand till it becomes a big household name that people know, because we're still very small, we're still infancy stage, but we're making great inroads.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, it's been fun. That's been the most fun in this industry, is just meeting different people.
Yes.
Because when you really think about it, starting your own business may not be the best for everybody looking on social media, and and everyone's talking about start your own business, be free. It's hard work.
Yes, it's so
really is.
yeah. The cool thing, the pros and cons of social media is you see the glitz and glamour of people
Right,
see
right.
me tasting wine and enjoying some of my prosecco or enjoying some of the champagnes I bring in, or even enjoying my gin that I bring in, or any other brands I bring in from Burgundy. But then on the back end of it, nobody realized the hours, the sleepless nights, which by no means am I complaining.
No, not at
I
all.
enjoy it because it's not meant to be easy. Because if it were
Right.
easy, everybody would be doing it.
Exactly.
But it's that hard work, the grit, the
Yeah.
grind.
Yeah.
That at the end of the day, hopefully, I get to enjoy some of it. But the goal for me is to be able to leave it behind for my two girls, and one of them, hopefully, both of them want to run this at some point and say, "Hey, Dad, we got this. Let's just
Yeah.
sit back, relax, and enjoy the wine
Yeah.
now while we
Yeah.
while
Yeah.
we work." Again, it's a family business. It's me, but I want to be able to cultivate it and leave it behind for my family, my kids, my nieces, my nephews, and say, you guys run it with my girls and see where this could take you. Because it's what, you think about wineries in Italy, France, or wherever the case might be. It's family run.
Yeah.
It's generational. They pass it down, and that's what I want to try to do. And not only doing that, but also while having this company help bring up new and cultivate and be the spokes or be the importer of the mouthpiece or avenue for other entrepreneurs like myself, black and brown individuals, he or she that wants to develop their brand and be able to be that person to help get into the marketplace for them. Make it easy and have an avenue like, oh, we have an ally already in the industry that we can actually talk to and say, hey, Yemi or Bello Imports, can you be our supplier to help us get this to your other distributor and get into the other market? I'll most likely 9 out of 10 times I'll say yes, unless the brand is bad, which I'm always candid with people.
You have to. You have to.
Yeah. I want to be able to help get other brands into the avenue. Some people want it done tomorrow. We just have to be very, very smart in what we do and how we get things out there together. It's not easy. It's a struggle, but it's a challenge that I'm up for. I'm still young at heart, but it's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, that's been the most. I mean, even with us, I mean, Max, I see as a big brother, and then we got my little brother. Yeah, he's he's a character. He's probably gonna be watching later.
I love Max. It's funny. I met Max the first time I met Max a couple of weeks ago. I was like, come in, let's do a tasting. I'm like, I'm done. I tell my distributor, use me and abuse me. Let's grow the brand together. And we had a blast yesterday selling wine, signing bottles. And I'm a big football fan, so I'll say this, and I enjoy being here. I must like you guys a lot because I'm missing Man U. My club played today.
Let's end the podcast right here. Where Yemi, thanks for joining us.
Yeah. What do you follow? What do you like?
Real Madrid primarily.
Real Madrid. That's La Liga though, so that's fine.
Yeah,
That's
but
fine.
I don't know, Man U.
What?
Their offices are failing, man.
No, we're the best club in Europe. Come on, the biggest club in Europe, man. Come on, don't say that.
I think another club in that city might
Oh.
say otherwise. I don't know. They just destroyed Real Madrid.
They're the noisy neighbors. That's why we call them the noisy neighbors. All they do is scream. And we are, anyway, we are the giant of Manchester. Google, type in Manchester and Man United would come up in your Google search.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about City. Nobody cares about City. Anyway, we don't.
We might be able to edit that out.
But on a fun note, though, talking about football a bit, I think that's the cool thing about wine, though. What we do is, wine transpire and transfer into all spheres. You could be unfortunately, thank God you're not a Liverpool fan. You could be a Liverpool fan, but I'll still share a glass of wine with you because it's like, why not? We'll banter a bit and then go back and have a glass of wine or two and go from there. But the industry is amazing. I enjoy being in the industry. You get to meet loads of people.
Yeah.
I get to talk about wine, something I'm very passionate about. I get to talk about spirits, gin that I'm passionate about. I've worked for some amazing company in the past, some good cognac companies in the past that I still enjoy and support. But it's could be worse.
Yeah, it definitely
What
could.
we do could
Yeah,
be worse.
there's few things that really unite people. Alcohol is definitely one of them. Food, music too.
And a
I
good
mean,
sports team like Manchester United unite
yeah,
people.
yeah. That's why the World Cup.
Yeah,
like
it's coming.
that's something that
It's gonna be.
Here,
We're gonna be.
2026.
Yeah, we're gonna have. I think DC. I don't know if DC has.
No, Philly's one. Philly's one of them. Yeah,
excited
I think that's
Philly.
the closest one to here actually.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be amazing.
That's I have till then to get these stores running and so I can just take off for a month and a half.
Well, I'll say this to you: if you know, if you ever in Philly, mi casa su casa. Come and Philly. Let me know. We'll have a great time. We'll go out drinking. We'll go out some football. Break some bread.
Yeah, for
break
sure.
bread. We'll break bread.
For sure. If Manchester United is ever in the Champions League, maybe we can get a Real Madrid Manchester United game.
Oh man,
I'll go up for that one.
I'm gonna take an hour off my tasting and signing today. We're gonna be in Champions. We're all in Champions League next year. We are in Champions League next year. That's a given. Right. We're finishing top 4 this year, so don't worry about it.
We'll segue on to the next topic on that one.
Yeah, let's go.
Let's talk a little bit about the industry, how a bottle of wine goes from the vineyard to myself as a retailer.
Yes.
Where you help in that process and what it's been like.
So the process, most people don't know the process. So you go to your most consumers, and some consumers do. I don't want to generalize them. Most consumers do. I think they're aware of the process, but they see a shelf in a bottle on the shelf, and they're like, "Wow, why is this bottle $300 or $20 or $2 chalk?" The process in between from when it leaves to vineyard, apart from harvesting, fermenting and going all through to bottling, to coming into US and going into your shelf. It's a long process, a really, really long process. So, we go from scheduling a freight forwarder to pick it up. We pick it up from my winery in Maremma. Then we truck it all the way to the nearest port is in New York, New Jersey, Elizabeth, because that's where, it's closer to get our brands to Philly, where we're based. And then you have to pay all these taxes. I mean, before I even make a penny on this, I'm already out about 20-30K just to get a full container in, because you pay for the container, you pay whatever for taxes, because Uncle Sam wants the money.
How many bottles usually come in a full container? That's the 40-foot containers, right?
Yeah, so we could do a 40-foot container or 20-foot. So 20 is 10 pallets, depending on how many goes on a 10 pallet. 40 is 20 pallets.
What is it, 600 bottles per pallet?
Give or take, give or take. Depending on where it's coming from, how it's packed as well. Okay. So some pallets are smaller sizes, so they could probably do 52 cases. Some is, which will be about 600 bottles, give or take. Some pallets, depending, like my Alsatian wine, they do about 70 cases on a pallet, because the box structure is different. Wines from Burgundy as well is also packed differently. My Italian wines are about 52 cases on a pallet. So you multiply that by 10 pallets, or 20 if that's what you're doing for a 40-footer. It's best to always go with the full 40-footer, because you then get, it's always best to fill a container as much as you can, because you're still going to pay the same taxes anyway.
Right.
So we get it here, we pay all the taxes, then we get into a warehouse, then we start, hopefully, a distributor orders loads of them, and then they have to have their sales rep, including myself, every now and then go into different markets and they start and selling or tasting, and then hopefully the consumers convert to our brands and enjoy the brand. There are different levels and a lot of levels in between, from leaving the winery to get here. But at the end of that, just give you a small synopsis of how it works. Because once we get to Jersey, we have to get it up here, clear customs, clear everything, and then get it to the stores, per se. Makes it easy, but it's fun. It's something I signed up for, and something I'm excited for, and I wouldn't have it any other way. I wish the transport aspect of it was seamless and easy, but for right now, we just have to go with it due to we're still dealing with the pandemic era, logistics issues, be delays and so on and so forth, and also pricing as well. Pricing has gone from X to 500% increase
Yeah.
in importing. So, excuse me. So it's a bit it's difficult, but it's fun as well. So
And yet, Italian wines are usually less expensive than California wines. How? I don't know.
I know it's crazy, and it's. I mean, I've worked sold some really great, good Californian wines in the past, and yeah, it's amazing because it's right there.
Right,
It's
right.
right there.
There's a truckload.
Yeah,
Just bring it over
it's
here.
literally right there, California, and this is coming from another continent to get here. So, I think it's just it's our industry, it's our model per se. You know,
Right.
we as Americans are very very capitalistic economy, so we have to, we are the best in what we do per se.
Yeah.
That's very very subjective, but we are the
Right.
best in what we do in the U.S., and we have to make sure our pricing dictates it.
Right.
Good, bad, or indifferent. That's
Agreed.
what really good as. But we do have some really really great Italian wines that I bring in. I've had, I'm not going to name drop people, but I've had, people that own football teams and basketball teams have tried my wine. They're like, wow, this is better than this Super Tuscan I've had. And not only did they drink one bottle, they drank 4 bottles at a local restaurants in Philly. So I'm like, I get those emails and calls from our partners, and literally I do a massive dance.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie
that's
to
the
you. I get
beauty of
excited.
wine is price is a good factor, but it's not always,
No.
if any at all, like the factor.
No, it's a liquid
So.
to lips. It's what's in the bottle that goes a long way. So
Right. Also, my favorite wine could be the wine that you spit out.
Yes.
Everyone's palate is so different.
absolutely,
So you cannot,
So,
even if someone tries it and not for them.
no, it's it's not
just not for you.
Yes, I was having this conversation yesterday with this individuals that came in, and I didn't put my foot in my mouth because there's some wines I do like and some wines I didn't like. At the end of the conversation, the gentleman said he liked this wine. I said I was kind of like midway on. But he bought my wines. I signed 2 bottles for him. He said he had 1 or 2 daughters. And that's something that relates to, I'm able to have this commonality with individuals come in. You don't have to like the wines I like. I don't have to like your wines, but they understand the approach. Like you said, you hit the nail on the head. Everybody's palate is different.
Right.
My preference might be your dislike. I got this gentleman that came in, we're tasting, Gewürztraminer yesterday as well, which we're going to taste again today. And he's like, I'm the king of Gewürztraminer. And I'm like, there you go. He loved my Prosecco, but it was like, I'm still the king of Gewürztraminer. I'm like, good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that question a lot. What's your favorite wine? And I'm like, it depends.
It depends.
Is it for the store? Am I drinking it at home? Am I drinking it on the patio with the sun beaming on me?
Yes.
What's the occasion here?
Yes. And to me also, that's a trick question asking, a sommelier or somebody in the wine industry, which is your favorite wine? Because it's hard to pick. And I give it to them this way. And, it's like somebody asking me which of my daughters is my favorite daughter. And I'm like, well, I love my daughters equally, but it depends on which one is being, nicer to me that day or that week would be my favorite daughter. But it's hard to pick, and it just depends on the people. I mean, the people you're with. I think, there's this phrase, and I can't remember what coined the phrase. A bottle of wine begs to be shared with people, begs to be shared, but I add people to it because they're in friends and family, because, it's different. It hits you differently when you have this commonality with someone in front of you and having this conversation. The wine tastes differently because you just have this energy from them. That you're enjoying the wine. So again, I see you writing it down. A bottle of wine begs to be shared, and I'll send it to you when I, later after our, this interview or podcast to be able to share with your, your fan base as well. But because it's true, we can be drinking in my Due Rosato, which is organic wine, organic grape, certified organic from Maremma. And someone might not like the rosé, like, I don't. Right. But it's an amazing rosé. It's a full-bodied rosé that goes year-round. So it's it's a personal preference, and at the end of the day, it just depends on what you have and your company. At the end, that's what I tell people.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's the key thing. Opening a bottle and sharing.
Yes, and sharing is caring. I should say, to an extent.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now so you focus on importing.
yes.
Okay. Walk us through kind of how you choose, because I'm sure there's vineyards lining up to get their stuff imported into the U.S. Walk us through how you kind of select the wine, how much, I guess, say you have in labeling and how the wine comes out. How does that kind of all play out?
Great question again that you just asked. Yes, my focus is basically importing. I own an import company. I also partner with a winery in Tuscany that I don't own the winery, but I've invested and I continue to invest in the winery by bringing great wine spectator rated wines into the U.S.
Nice.
So for everything from Italy, and for the foreseeable future, I'm always going to own the label and the brand. So I do everything but make wine. I go in sometimes to Tuscany, to Maremma, to help during harvest. I've done it once because we're new, going on 3 years. I do taste the must to make sure not to make. I don't have a say in all of it per se. I do have a little bit of like, oh, this is good, this is not. I'm gonna say it's not. Because we have a great winemaker that makes it, a female winemaker, well-renowned winemaker that makes all our wine in Maremma. So I do all the creation of the label, but make wines. I do everything but make the wine. I decide on what label, what name goes on. I do seek counsel and I consult friends and family to see what they think. By the end of the day, the onus is on me to make sure I'm able to bring a great product in,
Right.
quality name branding. And one of the things I do at the end of the day is trying to work. And you said it when you were asking the question. I'm sure you get loads of people, wineries from all over the world, per se, Europe, that want to bring the brand into the
Right.
US. Again, we are a capitalistic economy, so everybody wants to be in the US. Pennsylvania, where the company is based, we're one of the largest, if not the largest, PLCB is the largest buyer of wine and spirits. So many people want to come into that market. And what I do is be very, very selective in what we want to work with family that has the same vision and mission statements that we do per se to an extent, or at least aligned accordingly. Open-minded, being able to work with all people from all races. So that's one of the things I look at into family and look at their production, look at their I said the mission and vision statement. Also look at the partnerships. Does it make sense for us?
Right.
Because there's no reason getting into business with someone, and at the end of the day, you can align. You don't have your visions and your plans aligned together. Because
Right.
not everything is going to be perfect.
Yeah. Am I gonna ignore your calls when they
Yes,
come through? You know?
yes. And again, and it's at the end of the day as well, it's we are growing. We're a small company growing. So sometimes things are not perfect, but I want to be able to be candid with them and say, hey, we can't pay you tomorrow. We have to push it down a month due to, what's going on in the U.S. economy at this state. And, those are things that we want to make sure we are equally, mutually benefiting and understand each other. But at the end of the day, I have a saying with the other guys I import from Alsace, from Leeds to gin, partners there from Burgundy as well. I do have a little bit of a saying what happens, because the TTB approves all the labels, so I have to make sure they comply.
Right.
But I have a lot of saying what we want to bring into the US. I taste it. I go up there. One of our driver brands from Burgundy, from my partners in Burgundy, is the Everyday Drinking Wine. And I went there with them a couple of years ago, and we're having lunch, and I had this Sauvignon Blanc. I'm not a big Sauvignon SB guy, and I had this Sauvignon Blanc, and I loved it. And I knew my friends and my family would love it, so I brought 6 bottles back, and I had my friends and my business partners. I tasted it. And one of them was Caroline, and she loves Sauvignon Blanc with her girlfriend dinner. And I'm like, hey guys, can you taste this for me? They liked it, and they're big New Zealand Sauvignon Blanc drinker from Marlborough, and they loved it. And I said, I'm bringing this in. So I had I had to say in that brand, the design of the label, even though it's not my brand, I had to say in the design of the label, the front and back label. So for most 99.9% of the time, I have a say in it, because I'm the one marketing the brand for them in the US. I'm the one building the brand for them in the US. I'm the one, my company per se, Bello Imports, Bello Wines, is the one putting the financial stake out to make
Right,
sure we build
right.
this brand
Yeah, I mean,
successfully in
you're
the
taking it
US.
on. If it comes in and it doesn't move, or
I'm sitting on like
yeah,
I'm stuck with it. I have to
yeah,
sell it.
yeah, you have to maintain it too. Right
Yes,
temperatures, right? Yeah,
absolutely. So, the onus is on me to make sure we have quality brands that can sell. We have quality labels that attracts consumers. We have the quality, we have the right marketing. I'm involved in marketing as well. As you mentioned earlier, I went to St. Joe's for grad school. And one of the things I did in my MBA was, international marketing. And, I want to make sure, things are aligned perfectly. It's not going to be perfect, but we're trying to make it as perfect as I try to make it as
right.
perfect as possible with my team and my consultants to be able to sell great brands.
Awesome. Before we talk about the wines,
Mm-hmm.
what advice would you give to somebody that wants to kind of pursue the path that you've taken on the import side? How would you, if someone approached you and said, "Hey, I like what you're doing. I want to start something," what advice would you give them?
I would say do it. I'm never going to say don't do it, but do your research. Do your, be sure this is what you want to do. It's expensive. I don't have much regrets, but there are things I've done in life I learned from it. So case in point, what I'll tell them to do is, as long as there's no conflict in the industry that you're working in, don't quit your day job if you can. I did quit my day job. That's why I'm saying don't quit your day job until you can establish yourself. Because at the end of the day, right now, what I'm doing is, my nest egg is all into the company. I've invested and you have to invest your personal funds in it. I started this company with all my investment into the company with some investors, few investors. But at the end of the day, and right now we're actually out there seeking more funds. Unfortunately, what's going on with the banking industry is making it harder to get funds. But my biggest advice to them would be, seek out someone that would be able to help you and give you advice. I'm open to talking to anyone. I met this young individual, this young guy yesterday. They make their own pre-batch cocktail. And he's a co-founder, and he said, "Hey,
Yeah, the fireside.
yeah, I think so."
It's
And he said,
delicious, yeah.
"Yeah," and he's really great. And he said, "Hey, can I pick your brain?" And I said, "Yes." It was really seems like a really nice guy. Scott is his name, I think. And I said, "Yeah, call me anytime. I'll pick your brain. I'll share. I'll share my best practices with you." But what I did tell him is, don't quit your day job. It's hard to do both,
Yeah,
but you have to
yeah.
be, because you don't know what the future holds. Because if you do quit your day job, then there's no income coming in fast enough from the import company.
Right.
You have to pay bills, and
Right.
how you gonna
Yeah.
pay those
Yeah,
bills
you're
without?
accruing another cost
Yeah.
for the company.
Yeah, so it's I did quit my day job, and I'm actually now going back into having another day job to make sure I continue to run the company
Yeah.
effectively, because it's that's the biggest until I get a big investor, angel investor, that say, "Yemi, here goes $2 million or $3 million or $30 million." Even with that, I still be really really leery about that. But at the end of the day, it's like, go with your passion. Know what you do your research.
Yeah.
Speak to people in the industry. I did that. Find partners that believe in you. Distributor partners. I'm lucky enough, full disclosure, I worked for Breakthrough Beverage in PA for a number of years, about 7, almost 8 years, I think.
Okay.
They are my national distributor in most markets, or every market we go to, the Breakthrough is in. So we Breakthrough Beverage in PA, Delaware, DC, Maryland, which is the grading principle in South Carolina. So everywhere Breakthrough Beverage Group is, we go in with them. So find a distributor partner that believes in you, that you believe in. It doesn't have to be the big one. I would say make sure you go with the big one that has the finances in order.
Right.
When I started with a small, again, this is being full disclosure, and I'm not going to mention the name because I don't want to slight them or defame them. But the fact is the fact, they went bankrupt. I'm out of I'm not going to mention it, but a lot of money, 6
Right.
figures that I'm still really, for the bankruptcy.
Right.
But being a small company, when somebody doesn't give you up to 6 figures that they owe you, you have to ask to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
So do your research.
Yeah.
Do your research, and but those are things I'm learning from.
Yeah.
You learn from it.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I've learned that it's not really, and it might be true with across the board with all industries, but the alcohol industry is really it's not a lone wolf type of
No,
industry.
no,
You're dependent on people. You know, I'm
no.
dependent on you guys to bring in wine
Great product.
so that I can sell
Yes,
in the shop. You know, I'm dependent on labels. The
absolutely,
more you guys market your products, the
absolutely.
easier, and people recognize it. They'll walk in.
They'll
I don't
come in
have
and
to
buy
hand
it.
sell it.
Yes,
So it's yeah, it's definitely a dependency type of industry, which I like. I get to meet people and see what they're doing.
yes.
You know, pick people's brains, learn.
And we're trying to get there for you. And I'll be honest with you, one of my commitment for 2024 is to do more marketing. Because our brands are still very, very new, young.
Right.
We're doing very well in PA. We're doing very well in DC, and we just got into Maryland. So Delaware, we're doing well there as well. So it's in the our next phase is to do more marketing of the brand, get the brand out there, be through billboards, be through social campaign or whatever the case might be, to get the name of the brand out there, Dwayfia, and also if it needs to be my face as well, get my face out there so people could correlate the brands to me, not only being black owned but also to being this individual that owns this brand, and hopefully at some point when my kids are old enough, get them out there as well to start working
Yeah.
in the industry.
Yeah.
Get the face that I did an interview with Fox 29 in Philly months ago, and that helped. A little uptick was there, but I'm excited for we're still in 2023, but I'm excited for the planning ahead for 2024 and our marketing campaign aspect of it. And we work with great groups, helping with t-shirts and logo designs, a T-shop, which is one of our partners that helps do all our merch out of New York. Great friends and family. So it's using your your local resource, friends and family to your advantage. And but the biggest thing I will say is don't be shy to ask those tough questions.
Right.
Set your egos aside. Let people know when you're vulnerable. It's hard for me to do, and I'm saying that now because I'm a very private person. But every now and then I have to set my ego aside, not to say I have a lot of it. But I'll set it aside and ask those, vulnerable questions or those tough discussions with my investors or potential new investors, and say, hey, this is where we are. We have a projection of doing 1 point something million, but we need another influx of cash from you.
Right.
And some of them say yes, some of them say, yeah, well, let's think about it.
Yeah.
But it's so being candid with them and being candid with yourself and what your abilities are. So, and also it's, again, at the end of the day, don't bite off more than you can chew. My oldest brother in London always says this to me when I was growing up, when I was really, really young. And I think I'm going to mess this up due to my accent as well. It's, he says this, and, friends of mine still make fun of me when I say this. Some of them say, because I say this often, it's like, cut your coat according to your size, meaning if you wear a large in jacket or suit or overcoat, don't wear a double XL because you're going to look goofy.
Yeah.
Even though
Yeah.
fashion tells you otherwise.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you see
Yeah.
people wearing baggy outfit. I think it's, and that I try to,
Depends on the situation.
yeah, it depends
as
on
well.
the situation.
If you're trying to present
Situational.
yourself. You want to.
Yes.
Yeah. You don't want to
Look
a
really
certain way.
disheveled. So I think that's the, again, going back to don't bite off more than you can chew, or make sure your coat, quoting my oldest brother in London, is cut your coat according to your size. If you're medium, wear medium. Don't be an extra large when you're medium, or wear small when you're medium, because it looks goofy on you. So
yeah, we've all been there. You have to wear a suit for the first time, so your father's suit doesn't quite fit you, but
you can get it tailored. There's something about tailoring, so get it tailored to your perfect fit. So, same thing about the industry. I'll be honest, I've bitten off more than I could chew to start. Again, that's the aspect of no regrets.
Right.
You just learn from it.
Right.
I'm learning really fast from it. Like, okay, dude, you can't do that. Like, bro, like, chill. So it's like, it's learning, very growing pains. But the one thing I say though is I have great resources in my corner. My distributors are amazing partners. Breakthrough Beverage in PA, in DC, in Delaware, in Maryland. They've been very, very understanding, knowing we're growing. And the team is very, very supportive and say, hey, Yemi, we want you in the market. So I'm back in DC next week again. I have a wine dinner in Philly next week, next Thursday, but I'm coming to DC early in the week, early in the day to get back to Philly by 6 o'clock at the Pyramid Club to host a wine dinner, 5-6 course wine dinner for my brand. So it's, I say this. I'll sleep when I'm dead. Yeah.
I say that all the time.
Hopefully not tomorrow, but it's knock on wood. It's endless. It's fun. And I'm going to take a sneak peek of my phone. It's very, very rewarding. I said earlier, Man United's playing. I want to see the scores right now. Yes, we're 1-0. Yeah. We're up 1, so let's go. I'm sorry. Casemiro. Yes. So I'm a big football guy. Everything I do in life, apart from friends and family and my girls, it's the biggest thing you can see me do is watching a football match. And I'm kicking myself in the teeth. I'm missing Man U play, but my boys are, we're going to get it done against Bournemouth today. So I'm excited. So sorry, I had to do it quick. Cheat.
I don't blame you. Roman is not playing, so I would
looking at the scores real quick. So we're up 1-0. I'm happy about that.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the wines that you're going to be pouring tonight, and then, what are your...
Yeah, so I wish you. Well, we'll take a picture. You and I will take a picture. We'll take a picture of the label and put it on on the podcast.
Yeah.
But normally I like to start off with an Affresco. The Affresco we have in front of us, it's Prosecco. It's 100% Glera grape. Glera grape is one of the best grape you use to make Prosecco. Most people use different kind of grapes. They blend Glera and something else, but we use 100% Glera. This is not from Tuscany, even though my company and most of our brand, 90% of our brand for right now, comes in from Maremma in Tuscany. This is from Treviso. I work with a partner there that helps produce this amazing Prosecco. It's low residual sugar. This is an amazing Prosecco that sells very, very well. It's called Affresco. Somebody asked me this question. This is one of the first time I've had this question asked yesterday. Why'd you call it Affresco? And then you realize the question when I was about to start. I was like, it's because you could sit outside and you think you are in the countryside in Tuscany.
Yeah.
And that's the essence of it. Literally, this glass of wine, this glass of Prosecco, transcends you, and that's what we want to do. To you thinking from sitting on your patio, sitting in your backyard, sitting out front, if you guys had sidewalk table, to transcend you into thinking and making you escape.
Yeah.
Best word, escape into being in Tuscany, being in the countryside in Italy, and just enjoying this Prosecco as an aperitif.
Yeah.
Or, having it as we do in the US as a mimosa. Or with,
bottomless mimosa.
Yeah, bottomless mimosa, which is great for the day, like a brunch day. Or just having it in your perfect gin cocktail. I have this amazing gin cocktail that I
haven't had.
So a great, I'll give you my recipe. There's this gin cocktail I normally drink in the summer. You do the Botanic Request gin, which is my gin, John Roberts Botanic Request gin. You do a little bit of Saint Germain, and then you top it off with a Fresco Prosecco.
Interesting.
Dude, it's amazing. Or you could do an Italian 75. Italian 75 is basically you do my gin again, John Roberts Botanic Request gin. You do a little bit of simple syrup, and then you top it off with the Affresco Prosecco. And you just do
it's a
lemon.
Fun day.
It's a fun day. You do a little bit of lemon peel in it. It's amazing. Yeah. Some people might call it a French 75, but since we're doing my Prosecco from Italy, in the French 75 you do a champagne. We do have a champagne as well that we don't sell from Champagne Floteux. Which you can also use, but I'll say use a Prosecco.
Prosecco's taken off,
dude.
Oh my gosh,
Prosecco,
it's the number one selling alcohol product.
Yes, in the U.S. Prosecco, Pinot Grigio. We do have a Pinot Grigio. We have a Pinot Grigio coming out. If not this year, definitely in 2024.
Awesome.
Also coming in from where we get the Prosecco from. We have a label almost approved by the TTB, but the Prosecco is going to come out. I mean, the Pinot Grigio is going to come out. And the brand is going to have something that has to do with my family as well. So I'm not going to give out the name yet, but it's something that, again, I pay homage back to my family, and where we get some of the wines from. So I'm excited for the brand when it comes out in 2024. It's an amazing Pinot Grigio. I've tasted it. It's just, I just can't wait for it to get. I'm excited. I'm getting this little butterfly, but it's excited because, again, going back to your original question, I don't feel like I work a day in my life.
Right.
I work a lot of
Right.
hours. I work a lot of hours, but it just doesn't feel like work because I'm growing. I'm happy to be growing something and leaving a legacy behind for my girls. I just want it to be quicker. But I'm patient. I'm patient.
I
I'm
can
very
relate.
patient.
I mean, yesterday when we closed at 10, got home, laid down, and I'm like, all right, tomorrow's podcast, we're going to do this. And then I'm just like,
I know.
thinking.
Likewise, though, I woke up early this morning. I'm like, you need to go to the gym. Normally, my Monday through Fridays, I get up between 4 and 4:30. I go to the gym, then I start my day. But today I was like, okay, you're going to do a podcast. You're going to do this, you're going to do that. You have an event, a big event tonight. You're going to go there, then leave and come back in, then go back there. So I'm like, oof. Then you have to drive early back to Philly tomorrow so you can make church on time. So I'm like, okay, you got this. You got this. So anyway, so that's yeah, no complaints.
Not at all. Not at all.
Just having fun.
We're happy to do it, or else we wouldn't be here.
We'll be here. So we've done the Alfresco. So the next two brands, there's three brands.
Which one do you want to
So let's do the Rosato.
Okay.
So the Rosato is basically a rosé. It's called Due Figlie. The G is silent, but you enunciate Due Figlie. Some people say Due Figli. I'll say Due. As long as you're buying it, you can call it Due Figli. But eventually people do get it. The reason I say that is their other brand names are harder to pronounce, but over time with repetition,
right,
you get it. My name is Yemi. I go by Yemi. Some people still call me Yummy, and I'm like,
yeah, I don't know what to
I still get that.
Yeah.
I just got that yesterday. So,
only that's reserved for my wife.
Is it Yummy? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. You call me Yummy, whatever. Don't call me Yemi.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I stopped correcting people. My name is Luis. Everyone wants to call me Louis.
Yeah, just let it be.
The Italians call me Luigi sometimes.
Luigi.
So I mean, it's not wrong. It's technically a different variation.
Yeah,
so
true.
I just stopped correcting people. I'm
Hey,
that's go ahead. Go ahead.
And so the Rosato is one of my favorite. I have to say, people have been asking me so much. I said it earlier. Which is your favorite one? If I had to pick, this would be one of them. The rosé. It's a full-bodied rosé. Again, it's certified organic wine, all stainless steel. 100% Sangiovese grape. Somebody asked me that yesterday. What do you mean Sangiovese? It's red wine. I'm like, yes, but we do a little bit of skin contact. Gives it this amazing color to it. It's great. Again, Due Figlie means two daughters. Under the Due Figlie line, we have three brands, three lines. We have the Rosé, which is the Rosato. We have a Vermentino, which is our white wine, and we have the Rosso, which is a Tuscan blend, which is a red wine. So I wanted to have a driver brand, which is our driver brand, to have all three marks. You have your red, your white, and your rosé, so your consumer can love the brand.
Is there a red for this one?
Yeah, there is. We don't have it today, but there's a red for it. It's amazing red. It's a 90% Sangiovese, 10% Syrah. It's fantastic. I'll tell my sales rep to grab a bottle to taste you guys on it. It's a year-round red as well. It's light enough that you can have it in the summer. The Syrah gives it this really good spice on it. But I don't want to take away from the rosé, but I'll get back. I'll talk about that actually after I talk about the Vermentino. This is a full-bodied rosé. What I mean by full-bodied rosé is it's a rosé you could drink year-round. Gone are the days, and some rosés from different regions, maybe from Provence and so on and so forth, higher residual sugar. This has low residual sugar, or primarily just for the summer. I don't want to say all of them are for some of them are for the summer. This is one you can have year round. You can have it as an aperitif, or you can actually have it with a meal. Some restaurants in Philly, case in point, and I'm just going to mention a few, and I'm not going to just knock anyone. Zahav, Giuseppe's and Son, our good partners, Via Locusta, and some other restaurants in Philly. Those are the three that just came to mind, and by no means am I insulting anyone. But thanks for everyone that's carrying my brand. I just can't think of all the names, otherwise we'll be here for 5 hours. They sell this by the glass, and the wines are perfectly paired with different dishes on the menu. You go to Zav, you have a hummus dish, you have a fish dish, you have actually meaty fish dish, so you can have like a flank steak. This would go perfectly because it's really, really robust and bold. It doesn't have that high residual sugar, so it's something you can certainly enjoy with most, and if not all, meals. And then we'll go to the Vermentino. The Vermentino is still also called Due Figlie, again under the brand of the Due Figlie line, the two daughters. This is our white wine. This is a wine that you could do an alternative to your Chardonnay or your Pinot Grigio. I say this acronym and people tend to laugh. Anything but Chard. By no means am I knocking Chardonnay, because I do have some white Burgundy, which is Chardonnay we sell. But people want to get away from that full fat, big buttery Chardonnay. This is a good alternative to go into it. We do also have a Pinot Blanc from Hubert Meyer that you can also try, but this would be a good alternative to the Chardonnay, someone that want to adventure out. Most people and some people do know what a Vermentino is. You think of Sicilian Vermentino, you think of Sardinian Vermentino, which has a lot of mineral due to the coastline. This doesn't have that high minerality. It's amazing wine. People and consumers alike have coined this Vermentino as a porch pounder. Because you have a glass, you want to have another glass. Because by the time it's like empty, like, holy crap, where did the bottle go?
You got to use the restroom and you're like, wait, let me sit back down.
You get up and you're like, okay. By no means, food, I have to put, warning out, please drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive. And consume my product safely and wisely. Please do not drink and drive. But just put out the PSA so we don't get sued. But it's a really great wine. Like I said, I call it porch pounder. We call it, not just I, but the consumer base have tried to call it porch pounder because it's an amazing wine that you want to enjoy. I do have plans for some for 2024 and what we're going to do differently about the bottle. Some advice of consult, spoken to a few people, but it's a great wine. I enjoy the brand. When I have people over, if I'm not starting off, depending on if somebody wants a Prosecco to cleanse the palate, I'm always either starting with the Rosé or start off with the Vermentino, because it's just an easy wine to just start off your day before you get into the red wine. As a palate cleanser, before you get into the big heavy white wines you like to try. The last
something I do want to point out, I love seeing stuff like this because the name on the bottle, it's there's a difference between people that were doing this with a passion behind it. Because I imagine this after your two daughters.
It's my girls.
So instead of sitting in a boardroom and you're like, okay, Due Figlie, I think that's going to do well in the American market. It's really marketable. No, it's after your daughter. There's passion behind it.
Yes, it is passion behind, but also
it's your reason for pursuing this. So it's a constant reminder every time you go to a store and sell it. It's like a constant reminder.
It's my girls. And I'm glad you said that. And I didn't want to say that earlier. It's funny because two of my investors, and this wasn't intentional. One of them has two daughters. Actually, both of them have two daughters. Both of my investors.
Interesting.
And my younger brother, is a small minority investor in the company. He also has two daughters. And it wasn't intentional. It was really, really unintentional. A gentleman that came in yesterday and was tasting the wine with me at the other Verified location. I told him what the wine meant. It was like, holy crap, I have to buy it now. I'm like, why? He was like, I have two daughters. Nothing against sons. I have nieces and I have nephews.
My mom might say otherwise.
Nothing against sons. But, for me, it's something I'm passionate about. And something constant, not saying I need a constant reminder about my girls. They're always there with me and always for me. But it's something I wanted, again, leaving a legacy behind for them. It's for the girls. It's not just, making millions of dollars tomorrow, but it's something I wanted to leave behind for them to be able to have, say, Dad left something for us. And also they have hopefully when they grow old and able to drink when they turn 21, legal age, to be able to say, yes, this is my brand. And also they become passionate about it. And then if they do decide on having families, they could then recreate their different brands. With my partners, because most wineries are always generationally passed down. That's what we plan to do when my girls get older. Integrate them into the business, take them to Tuscany. They haven't been yet. introduce them to our partners and family there. I call them my family. And then so when their kids grow up, because one of my partners in Tuscany, where we get the wine from, just had a baby girl. Then we'll introduce them together, and then we'll continue to build this generational partnership for forever.
Beautiful.
So that's my goal. That's my plan.
Beautiful.
The last but not least is the wine from Alsace by our partner, great winemaker Pierre Ubermeyer or Ubermeyer, as people call it. We have a Gewürztraminer. Some people call it Gewürztraminer. Gewürztraminer. The W is always pronounced as a V. Gewürztraminer. This is, most people know Gewürztraminer as a German varietal. Alsace is very close to Germany, but it's French territory. It's part of France. Many people say this region actually started world wars back in the day. I don't know. It could be true. I think it's partly true. Wine, and somebody said something yesterday that I'm not going to mention, but I think wine creates and starts wars sometimes. But it's an amazing, on the nose of this wine, you know, lychee, a lot of stone fruit. It's an amazing, low residual sugar, unlike some other Gewürztraminer in the marketplace. But it's an amazing, easy drinking Gewürztraminer. You think of your ethnic dishes. I'm just going to blanket ethnic dishes. Indian food, which I love. Thai food, Chinese food. Anything with really good spice and hotness, not too hot, but anything with, the sweetness cuts into it. It's a perfect harmony. It's a perfect balance. So, your Gewürztraminer will be a perfect balance for any ethnic food you would try. Even Nigerian food, like a jollof, which Nigeria makes the best jollof. There's some other countries out there always thinking they make a dirty jollof. We make the best jollof in Nigeria. There's one thing about me, I'm always going to put, snarky remarks and take swipes at people. Life is too short to be all sooty and to be all uptight. So we make the best jollof in Nigeria. So hands down, I'll bet my company on it. Probably not yet. Depending on who's making the jollof to go against anybody else, then I'll bet my company on it. But we make the best jollof, and this would go complement it very, very well, because you get that little bit of that, smokiness, the heat in it, and you get this sweetness in the Gewürztraminer that just complements it well and just to die for. Beautiful. So that's the wine. We have other brands. If I'm sure we'll put something on the podcast for people to check our website out and to learn more about. If you want to learn more about me, I've certainly check out the website. We are sitting together in front of each other, being immigrants from some other countries. It's fun to be able to do this, and I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see your success at the store. Look with the new,
likewise.
Yes, I'm excited for it.
Where would people want to know more information about you, your wines? Where would they go to find that?
So you could go to www.bellowines.com. We'll put it up on your podcast. It's BELLOWINES.com. And you get any information on there about me personally. My email, I think our email is there. If it's not, you can email the admin, and I personally answer every email and questions. Somebody sends us an email, I reroute to our info@bellowines.com, info at bellowines, BELLOWINES.com. They get it. I do get a copy of it, and sometimes I always respond back to no, I don't want to call them my fan, but our consumers and our well wishers, and also our detractors. I respond back to them, because you need that, a little bit of that from people, the naysayers as well, to say, hey, hey, I'm open to whatever you have to say, and I'll take constructive criticism very, very well. Those are ways you could reach out to us. I'm not going to give out my personal number online, but if you do have my number, you could, not you, but anyone else, please share it with people.
I'll post it on our Instagram.
I do answer calls. I don't have a company number. I use my direct number, but my personal number. But if we do have a company cell phone number, I'll give it out, because I answer all questions, good, bad, or indifference. There's no reason for me to hide, because we want to grow. We want, again, I've taken advice of, I don't seek, but I've taken advice and counsel our consumers, our fan base, to say, hey, I think you should do this differently, or do this and do that. I take it into consideration. I weigh the pros and cons, and some of them we've done, and some of them we haven't, and I just take with a grain of salt and say thank you. That's I'm open, easily accessible, even though I travel often, a lot, and also keeping a day job now. But it's fun. It's fun. It's just trying to make sure we grow the brand well, grow the company, and bring great wine. At the end of the day, a bottle of wine begs to be shared, and the goal for me is to share a glass of wine with any bottle of wine with anyone, anytime they're ready to drink. I always have, when I drive, I always have not a case of wine, but I always have wine in my car. So someone's like, "Hey, let's drink wine." I give wine away. I'm not gonna lie to you. So many people have given the wines away too, because it's just we want to grow the brand. And the best way to grow the brand is to give them, like you go to this groceries and supermarkets. There's a reason why they have people up front giving you samples of stuff. I can't
That's
legally.
why we do the tastings every Saturday.
Yeah, legally I can't give you sampling on the road because I don't know if you're 21 or not. But I can give you a bottle to go sample.
Right.
Because that's part of that's the way we sample things out. And so hopefully he or she enjoys it, and they're of age as well, and that helps us retain another fan base. So we do brand advocacy, the 3 A's in marketing: advocacy. We advocate the crap out of our brand. We talk about the brand. We do brand awareness. We get the brand out there so people can know about the brand based social media. We took a little bit of hiatus a couple of weeks ago because we had some stuff going on internally. We had to continue to build, and we had to bring some other people in to manage the social media. And then lastly is brand adoption. My goal is to get people to drink other brands, to now live those brands from brand awareness. We do, advocacy. We talk about a brand. We do brand awareness. People see our brands. Eventually in 2020, probably late 23, 24, you see billboards, and then adoption. Brand adoption is so consumers could adopt wines and adopt the brand as their go-to choice. And that comes from awareness, advocacy to adoption. So people could say, hey, I want to buy a bottle of Dwayfia. Not only a bottle, I want to buy a case of Dwayfia when it comes to verified. Why not put together a mixed case for me of, Bello Wines brand, Afresco, Rosato, Dwayfia, Vermentino, and some other high-end wines we have. We have some Bruges, which is a Bordeaux blend, Baby Super Tuscan, as some people call it. It's an amazing wine that we had this gentleman try out. They owns a basketball team and a football team that tried out and loved it. I'm not going to mention any name. In Philly, that is. So it's exciting. I'm excited for the brand. I'm excited what the future holds for us, and the sky's the limit.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yemi, thank you so much for
tuning in. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
This has been fun, for sure. Like I said, I love picking people's brains and getting to know other people in the industry. But if you do want to meet Yemi here, he'll be here from 4 to 7, Saturday, May 20th. Today, tasting out these wines here. And then if you want to follow us for more information, Verified DuPont is our Instagram. And then, of course, Yemi will be on our following list. What is it? The following?
Yes. Yeah,
follow. Information will be over there. What is the Instagram? Bello Wines? Or?
Yeah, it's Bello Wines Imports. Okay. At Bello Wines Imports, and I'm sure you guys have it, so follow them. You could easily find us. But it's Bello at Bello Wines Imports. Both S's at the end of Bello Wines Imports. It's our handle, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see the consumers today. Come in early if you can. I do have another obligation today, so it's going to be fast and furious today for me. So please, I feel bad, but if we need to make it up, even if I don't spend the entire day with you guys here, which I'll try as much as possible to, I'll definitely come back and redo it for you guys, because
for sure.
I do have a big commitment today with the Fine Wine series. Yes, I meant before I leave, it's not a shameless plug, but we are official wine sponsor for one of our partners, the Fine Wine series tonight. I think it's called Sandlot and Acacia. So if you can make it, please go there. If not, there's going to be loads of people there, loads of wine. We're going to be tasting through an array of wines today. So I have a commitment to be there with them. So I'm going to be running back and forth. Thank God we have Uber and Lyft as well. Not giving anybody any plugs, but to get me back and forth so I can make sure I'm in both places at some point together. So today's going to be a busy day for me, but I'm excited to come back. The wines are going to be ready to go for everyone that's coming out today. It's going to be really, really chilled. And I'm excited. So come in early, come in and enjoy it. And if I do miss you, my apologies. I do promise I'll come back in town again and do it. But I'm hopefully I don't have to miss anyone. Just to put it out there. So, but it's going to be fun. I'm excited for it.
For sure. We'll see you later on. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Until next time.
Thank you. Ciao.